Time working at Bremen, would you say there has been many instances in which you've had to deal with problems caused by social media?
I would agree with that statement, Natalie. I think whether I have had to or the administrative staff has had to deal with them. Um, First one that comes to mind was Yik Yak, which is kind of thrown out of out of fashion now, but that was quite a shock as well. There's just been multiple instances, whether it's bullying, whether it's just unwanted harassment, whether it's just general nonsense. So yeah, there have been a number of them.
Do you think that social media is affecting people's mental health? And if so, do you think that effect is positive or negative?
Yeah, I think that social media has the potential to amplify existing issues. And so if you already may be unsure of yourself or unstable, then I think that the constant bombardment of social media and that constant contact amplifies that. Also, I think that maybe conversely, if you have the propensity to be a bully, then, especially when you have anonymity, wow, the things people will say on social media, they would just never say to your face. So I would say yes, it is, well, it has potential to do good. I think in general, since there's just no disconnect between school, home, wherever you are now, students and young adults get no relief from the stress of being an adolescent. And so I would think, I personally believe, yes, it's negatively impacting mental health.
What are things that you believe are occurring on social media that are causing students to have poor mental health?
I think so much is there, kind of as I alluded to earlier, there is no reprieve. In my day, when I was your age, you had a bad day at school, you went home, sure you put up with your family, and maybe that was a good thing, maybe that was a bad thing, but it was a completely different set of problems. And now I watch my daughter come home, and she's still living the day, because the things that happen at school are not only happening in real life, they're also happening on social media real time as well, and continue throughout the day. And I will say, put down the phone. I can't. And I know that, for an adult that's not born into that world, pre-internet, that seems so simple. Just set the phone down and walk away from it. But to a lot of students your age, it's very difficult to do so because it's a part of your life. And so I think just that constant connectivity is not a positive. I think that then people, as I said earlier, people will say things on social media that they would never say in a face-to-face conversation. The type of how unkind we are to one another. I will look at CNN a couple times a day and look at the, even though it's not necessarily true social media, but just the comments people leave are just earth-shattering, nasty, brutal, hate-filled. No one wants to have a true conversation. They just want to hate one another. So I think when you take that amplification of emotion, it's a profound negative.
What are your thoughts on the amount of time people are spending scrolling through social media?
I think they could be better served scrolling through something else. Yeah, I think I get it. I use Facebook. I know that's old school as well. It's fun. I keep up, for me, I keep up with old classmates and so on and see how big of losers they are now. A little bit of bullying there going on. But I think that there's so much time spent on social media that's not productive. That social media, even Twitter can be a very good professional development tool for teachers, but that's not how most of us are using it. We're using it in a social capacity and not necessarily positive. So I really think the use of that time can be better served. We have this wealth of information on the internet. If anything we wanted to learn, know, or study, we can, which is it's a fascinating time to be alive. Yet we spend our time wallowing in opinion and emotion as opposed to seeking knowledge. So my suggestion would be spend more time, learning and not so much dealing with the human condition, because we can experience that in real life every day.
And the last question is, do you think that if people were on social media less, then they would become happier and have great mental health?
I don't think it's a true cause and effect. I think for many they may be. I think many would also go through withdrawal. I think so many are addicted to this. years ago, I was interviewed and offered a job at Northwest Missouri State, and they were the first internet-connected campus, and they were experiencing internet addiction at the time. And you know, these are the days long before the internet even had photos. I mean, it was just chat rooms, MUDs, things that, and they were finding their students couldn't get away from it, and they were already dealing with that, 25 years ago. And so I think we do have a bit of an internet addiction. So I think in some respects, yes, people would be better off, but I also think others can get that affirmation and that support they need from social media as well. I mean, the potential for positive is there. It's just, are people going to use it as such? That's the hard question.